We will now be looking at the simultaneous or simultaneous linear equations, and the best way to make this understandable is by using the Afrikaans word gelyktydig, okay, because we are finding multiple variables at the same time, okay, gelyktydig, simultaneously. Okay, so we are working with variables like x and y, including those but not limited to those. It could be j, k, l, m, any variables that you can think of, right? And I inserted this image of the man juggling because in order for you to successfully solve these equations, you need to be focusing on both those variables for the entirety of the calculation. So I've included a few steps to solving it. I will color code them for the next slide. So we start off by numbering our equations as 1 and 2. So let's call that our first step. Our second step would be to use one of the given equations and rewriting it in terms of a single variable. So you want it to look like x is equal to or y is equal to. So that is our second step. Our third step would be to number the modified equation as number 3. Okay, so the one that we modified up there, once we change it and write it in terms of x or y, we number that one as our third equation. And then the following step is to substitute equation number 3 into 1 or 2, but you need to focus on the one that was not altered. Remember, in step 2, we pick one of the equations, we modify it, and then in step 4, we use the modified equation with the unaltered equation. Okay, step 5 is to solve for one of the variables, either x or y, and step 6, and this is the step that learners often forget. Step 6 is to use the solution in 5. Okay, so use this solution to find the value of the second variable. I want you to think of the image of the man juggling the two balls, because you cannot forget to solve the second variable. If you do not solve both those variables, your solution is incomplete. Alright, so all the colors that were inserted on the previous slide are now on the top right with us. So step number 1, we number our equations as 1 and 2. So let's go. Let's call this one number 1 and let's call this one number 2. Step 2 in green is to use one of the red equations and write it in terms of a single variable. Now look here, we have x, 3y, 2x, 8y. Of course, it would be easier to go modify equation 1, because then we can just say that x is equal to 6 minus 3y. Okay, easy. One step, we don't have to worry about any coefficients because the coefficient of x is 1. So this is now our new equation, but in purple we need to label this as equation number 3. Step 4 in blue is to substitute the modified equation into the unaltered equation. Now remember, in step 2 we modified equation 1, and so we need to substitute this into this equation because this is the one that was not modified. So we go ahead and we make a statement saying that we will substitute equation 3 into equation 2. Okay, I'm going to color code them to make it easier to remember. So we substitute our purple equation into our red equation. Okay, lovely. So our purple equation says that x is equal to 6 minus 3y. So when we take equation 2, which is 2x plus 8y equal to minus 12, we need to now go ahead and take this value for x, which is this over here, and replace it or substitute it over there, because I'm taking the purple equation, equation 3, and I'm putting that value into equation number 2. And so now my blue equation modified is 2 with the green portion that comes from equation 3, right? 6 minus 3y plus 8y equal negative 12. From here, it's just a linear equation, so we got 12 minus 6y plus 8y equal to negative 12. And so 12 plus 2y is equal to negative 12. 2y is equal to negative 24. And so therefore, y is equal to negative 12. Okay? Step number 6 in yellow says that we need to use our solution over here to find the value of the second variable. Okay, so I'm going to add this, use your modified equation for this final step. So we want to find the value of x. So from equation 3, x is equal to 6 minus 3y. So now we substitute our solution for minus 12 to find this final answer. So x is equal to 6 plus 36, and so therefore x is equal to 42. Okay, if you're anything like me, you would want to be certain that this equation is correct. So we can go ahead and look at the first equation that says x plus 3y is equal to 6, and we can substitute and make sure that we do in fact get 6 as a solution. So x is 42, and then we add triple the value of y. Okay, all that is equal to 42 minus 36, which is in fact 6. So that is an indication to me and to you that the values we found for x and y do in fact satisfy this equation. Easy.